Hey everybody, Jacob Lyle with WildFlow. Today we're doing a controlled burn in Scotland Neck, which is in Halifax County, North Carolina.
WildFlow Land and Wildlife Management was founded in 2018 with the desire and passion to develop and maintain natural habitat and its wildlife. Our mission is to create future values and opportunities for all of our customers, their properties, and the wildlife that call them home. We want to take you along on this journey in our video series, Taking on the Wild, where we bring you along on this wildlife adventure that we call every day.
Does it seem like the wind's still doing what it's been doing on that end?
Yeah, same thing. Not really moving very fast down there at wind.
Once you get to this open field on my end, the wind really comes through here pretty good. So once Burris gets to this corner, we're probably gonna just let it keep burning for a little bit, maybe run a strip. We're trying to help this customer create a better wildlife habitat, and one of the best things you can do, and one of the most economic and efficient things you can do if you have a somewhat open canopy forest, primarily pine, is to conduct controlled burns or prescribed burns. What you're doing is you're removing that litter layer off the forest floor and allowing native grasses and forbs to grow. So a good analogy is if you're at home, your flower beds in front of your house, you put mulch or pine straw on those to keep weeds and grass from growing. Well, we're burning that off to promote that growth of grass and forbs, because it's all food, it's all cover for quail, turkeys, deer, and it promotes a lot of new regrowth, which is food. So we like to do our controlled burns between January 1st, it's right after deer season goes out, until about mid-May. Once it gets really hot and it just gets really tough for us to burn safely, and we call it quits for the year. You know, a lot of people are hesitant to have burns done on their properties, and for good reason. I'm licensed with the state to do this. It's Burn Boss certification. It takes about 2 years to do that. It's a series of classes and tests and things that you have to do to be able to burn for compensation for other people. And I've been burning for about 5 years now. We're also insured. We have $2 million burn liability insurance policy that covers us, covers your property and your neighbor's property if anything was to happen. Another big thing that we take into consideration is our wind direction and our relative humidity. You've got to have the right weather parameters for it to be a safe burn, for it to be a controlled burn. Another thing that we do is we put fire breaks in. Basically, we're making sure that the perimeter of the area that we're burning is not going to let the fire go outside of the area that we don't want it to. So this track in particular, we've got 4 different sections we're burning. It's a total of about 150 acres, and it took us all day to prep everything in order to be able to burn today. And you know, hopefully we can burn all that today, but more than likely we'll burn 2 out of those 4. So what you guys see right here is all the leaf litter and pine straw was kind of matted down to the ground, so we broke that up and went over it with these backpack blowers. That way we didn't have to disc it really heavy and create any erosion issues or disturb the soil too much. But basically we're just making it to where, since the wind's blowing in this direction, it's going to be pushing that fire. It's going to be trying really hard to try to go across the area that we don't want it to. We're lighting this fire from this side of the burn block because the wind is blowing in our face, in our direction. We want that fire to burn into the wind. If that fire was to be burning with the wind, that's called a head fire, and that's when it gets really hot and crazy. So for it to be a controlled burn, most of the time we're burning into the wind. Once it gets almost all the way through this track, we can light it on the opposite side. That's going to allow it to burn to black. Black is an area where we've already burned before, and fire can't travel across that. Some of the factors you want to take into consideration when you're doing a burn is what's around the property. You know, it's not necessarily the fire itself. We need to be concerned about it's the smoke. When there's fire, there's smoke, and when you're burning large acreage, there's a lot of smoke that comes with it, and so we have to make sure that we're not smoking out a school or a neighborhood or a highway. So Not all properties are conducive for burning, but if it's in a rural area, more than likely we can do a burn there. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about burns and the benefits of burning. First and foremost, we're burning for wildlife habitat, but another benefit of having burns done is that it's reducing the liability of a wildfire on your property from lightning strike or any other random reason why woods might catch on fire. You're reducing that fuel, and if there's no fuel, there's nothing that can burn. Also, a really fun fact and cool benefit of burning is it gets rid of almost all the ticks, if not all the ticks. It's beneficial to all wildlife that would inhabit the area that you're burning. If it's a pine plantation or an oak savanna and you're specifically trying to manage that area for a specific tree species, then all the young trees growing in the understory underneath the big trees, these fires are getting rid of them for you, almost like a herbicide application. The soil nutrients, water, and sunlight is further utilized by the trees that you're managing that property for instead of competing with the understory growth. So there's multiple benefits to a burn. It's very cost effective. We can burn a large area in a day, and it's money really well spent. There are studies that show that you can promote almost as much food per acre on a burned area as you could in a food plot. We've burned upwards of 80 acres in a day. It would take more than a day and a lot more money to plant 80 acres of food plots versus doing an 80-acre burn on a property. Thank you guys for joining us on today's episode of Taking on the Wild, doing a controlled burn here in Halifax County, North Carolina, Scotland Neck area. Hope you guys learned a little bit, and those that might be a little scared to try to do a burn might feel more comfortable. If you're interested in us doing a burn for you or any of our other services, you can check us out on wildflowhabitat.com. If you would, please hit the bell icon. That's going to let you know when our next video comes out. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. For now, take care.